My son tried to drug me for TikTok views and $3,000 in bet money. The hallucinogens he picked would have ended my teaching career during my biggest evaluation. But 25 years of chemistry knowledge turned his own trap against him. His championship game became his worst nightmare. My name is David Mitchell, and I'm a 55-year-old high school chemistry teacher from suburban Denver. What happened between my son and me last spring still keeps me awake at night, not because of what he tried to do to me, but because of what I almost missed. The signs were there, scattered like breadcrumbs through our quiet dinners and his nervous glances. I just chose not to see them until the night he thought I wasn't watching. Sunday dinners had become our tradition after losing Margaret 2 years ago. Every week I'd cook her pot roast recipe while Ethan set the table. It was the only time we really talked anymore, or tried to. That particular Sunday started like any other. I stood at the stove, stirring gravy and watching steam rise from the potatoes. The kitchen still smelled like Margaret's lavender candles. I refused to buy different ones. "Dad, you need help?" Ethan's voice came from behind me. I turned to find my 17-year-old son standing in the doorway. When had he gotten so tall? His shoulders filled the frame now, but something in his eyes looked smaller, younger. Scared, maybe. "Just about done," I said. "You can pour the drinks." He moved to the cabinet with strange urgency. His hands shook slightly as he reached for glasses. I noticed, but said nothing. Teenagers were walking mysteries. Margaret would have known what to do. Ethan filled 2 glasses with ice. The cubes clinked louder than necessary. He poured my coffee from the pot I always kept brewing. Black, no sugar, just how I'd drunk it for 30 years. "I'll grab the juice," he said, heading to the fridge, but he stopped at his backpack first, just for a second. His hand disappeared inside, then emerged closed around something small. He thought I was focused on plating the roast. He was wrong. 25 years of teaching had given me eyes in the back of my head. You learn to catch kids cheating without them knowing you're watching. You develop peripheral vision like a hawk. And right now, every instinct screamed that something was happening. Ethan stood at the counter with his back to me. His shoulders tensed. His left hand held my coffee mug. His right hand moved over it in a quick, practiced motion. A tiny splash. So small it barely disturbed the surface. Then he turned around, coffee in hand, smile plastered across his face. The same fake smile he'd worn when he was 7 and had broken Margaret's favorite vase. "Here you go, Dad. Careful, it's hot." He set the mug at my place and sat down quickly. Too quickly. His phone appeared in his hand, and he propped it against the napkin holder. The camera faced my seat. "That's new," I said, nodding at the phone while serving the roast. "Recording dinner now." His face flushed. "Just, for memories." Memories. Right. I sat down and wrapped my hands around the warm mug. Ethan watched me like a cat watching a mouse. His knee bounced under the table. Tap, 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 tap. The sound filled the silence between us. I raised the mug to my lips. Ethan leaned forward slightly. His breathing quickened. The coffee smelled normal, looked normal. But something had changed between the counter and this table. Something my son had done when he thought I wasn't looking. What would you do if you realized your own child was trying to poison you? I took a small sip, just enough to wet my lips. Ethan's eyes widened with anticipation. Then I set the mug down. "Too hot still," I said. "Let's eat first." Disappointment flashed across his face before he could hide it. He poked at his pot roast without eating. Every few seconds, his eyes darted to my coffee mug, waiting. "How's basketball going?" I asked. "Fine. Single word, closed door." "College scouts coming to the championship game?" "Yeah." Another door slammed shut. We ate in silence, thick as gravy. Ethan's phone screen stayed lit, recording everything. My coffee sat untouched, growing cold. A test of wills between father and son, though only one of us knew it. Finally, Ethan couldn't stand it anymore. "Dad, your coffee's getting cold." "You're right." I picked up the mug again. This time I noticed something else. A faint shimmer on the surface, like oil on water. Barely visible unless you knew to look, unless you'd spent years teaching chemistry and knew how certain substances behaved in liquid. I set the mug down again. Hard. "Actually, I need to use the bathroom. Stomach's been off all day." I stood and walked calmly to the hallway. Behind me, I heard Ethan's frustrated sigh. His phone clicked off. But I didn't go to the bathroom. I went upstairs to his room. And what I found there changed everything. Ethan's room looked like a bomb had exploded. Clothes covered every surface. Empty energy drink cans formed aluminum cities on his desk. The walls still held posters of basketball stars, but new additions caught my eye. Printouts of TikTok screenshots, videos with millions of views. I moved closer to read the titles. Gave my dad ghost pepper sauce, epic fail. Another, parents try world's sourest candy, hilarious reaction. And worst, dad takes Turbo Lax, bathroom explosion. My stomach turned, not from disgust, from recognition. This was what my son had become? A performer in the cruelest theater? His laptop sat open on the bed. The screen showed a TikTok account. Why Ethan Pranks, 17, 50,000 followers. The bio read, Ultimate Parent Pranks coming soon, big reveal tomorrow. I scrolled through his posted videos, each one more cruel than the last. A compilation of him secretly recording me crying at Margaret's grave, titled, Dad Having a Moment, Wait for It, with laughing emojis. Another of me falling asleep in my chair, drooling slightly, set to circus music. 20,000 likes, comments calling me pathetic, old, washed up. My son hearted every cruel response. His desk drawer revealed more horrors, printed emails between him and other kids, planning elaborate pranks on their parents, a whole network of teenage sociopaths turning family pain into entertainment. They had a ranking system, points for tears, bonus points for public humiliation, double points if the parent lost their job, triple if they needed therapy after. One message made my blood freeze. Ethan's going for the Grand Slam tomorrow. Teacher evaluation plus hallucinogens. Legendary content. Already got 3 news outlets ready to pick up the story if it goes viral enough. Tomorrow. Monday. The day of my teaching evaluation. I clicked on his private messages. The screen filled with conversations I wished I'd never seen. Bro, you really gonna do it during his evaluation? Jake B-Ball 23. That's the whole point. Maximum embarrassment, Tucker, maximum views. Ethan. What if he gets fired? Jake B-Ball 23. Not my problem. He's been a boring robot since mom died anyway. Ethan. The words hit like physical blows. Boring robot. Is that what grief looked like to him? More messages appeared below. Different username. Marcus, the plug, 420. Got your package. This stuff is premium, way better than laxatives. Marcus. How much do I use? Ethan. 3 drops max. Any more and it gets dangerous. This isn't kid stuff. Marcus. What does it do exactly? Ethan. Let's just say your dad's gonna see sounds and taste colors for about 8 hours. During his big evaluation, chef's kiss, bro. Marcus. Hallucinogens. My 17-year-old son had drugged me with hallucinogens. I sat on his bed, legs suddenly weak. This wasn't about pranks anymore. This was about destruction. My career, my reputation, my sanity. But why? What had I done to deserve this? A new message notification popped up from someone named Brittany B01. Is it done? Did you give it to him? Brittany. He hasn't drunk it yet. Being stubborn. Ethan. You better not chicken out. My brother didn't risk his business for nothing. Brittany. I'm not chickening out. I need that prize money. Ethan. Prize money? I scrolled up frantically. There it was, a betting pool. Kids from 3 different schools, everyone throwing in $50 to $100. The pot had reached $3,000. All riding on whether Ethan could publicly humiliate his father during the most important professional moment of the year. $3,000. That's what I was worth to him. I heard footsteps on the stairs. Quick thinking made me grab what looked like vitamin bottles from his desk drawer, but the labels had been switched. These weren't vitamins. I slipped out his window onto the garage roof, an undignified escape for a 55-year-old teacher, but necessary. I dropped into the bushes just as Ethan's door opened above. Re-entering through the back door, I called up. Just needed some antacid. Dinner's getting cold. Ethan appeared at the top of the stairs, suspicious but uncertain. We returned to the table together. The coffee mug still sat there, waiting, the liquid inside holding enough chemicals to destroy everything I'd built over 25 years. You know what? I said suddenly. "You're right. This coffee is too cold. Let me make fresh." "No." Ethan's response came too fast, too sharp. He caught himself. "I mean, just microwave it. Save time." "Good idea." I picked up the mug and walked to the kitchen. Behind me, Ethan followed like a shadow, watching, always watching. At the counter, I made a decision that would change both our lives. The microwave hummed its familiar tune. 30 seconds to heat coffee, 30 seconds to plan revenge. No. Not revenge, justice. Teaching moments came in many forms. "Actually," I said, "let's make this special. Tomorrow's a big day for both of us." Ethan's eyes sharpened. "Both of us? Your championship game, my evaluation. We should toast." I pulled out the bottle of sparkling cider Margaret used to save for celebrations, non-alcoholic, because she never drank, because she wanted to be present for every moment. God, I missed her wisdom right now. I poured 2 glasses while my back was to Ethan. My hands worked with practiced precision. 25 years of chemistry demonstrations had taught me sleight of hand better than any magician. Mix this, pour that, switch containers without anyone noticing. The drugged coffee went down the drain. Silent. "Quick." "Here," I said, handing Ethan his glass. "To tomorrow." We clinked glasses. Ethan drank deeply, probably relieved I'd abandoned the coffee. He had no idea what had just happened, what was about to happen. We finished dinner with forced conversation about nothing, basketball stats, weather forecasts, anything but the gulf between us. Ethan's phone recorded it all, waiting for a reaction that would never come, at least, not the one he expected. That night, I lay awake planning. The bottles from Ethan's room revealed everything. Powerful hallucinogens labeled as vitamins, enough to send someone to the hospital if dosed wrong. My son had played with fire, thinking he controlled the flame. Morning came too quickly. I dressed in my best teaching clothes, navy blazer, pressed khakis, the tie Margaret bought me for our last anniversary. If I was going to face Superintendent Harrison, I'd look professional. Ethan bounced into the kitchen, energy crackling off him like electricity. "Big day, Dad. You nervous?" The question dripped with false concern. He kept checking his phone. Messages from the betting pool, no doubt. Everyone waiting for the show. "A little," I admitted. "You?" "Nah, I'm ready. Scouts are gonna love me." Pride without foundation. Confidence without character. Where had I gone wrong? "Breakfast?" I offered. "Just juice. Gotta stay light for the game." I poured orange juice into 2 glasses. Again, my back was to him. Again, my hands worked their magic. But this time, the magic was different. Harmless, but effective. A lesson wrapped in irony. "Here's to success," I said, raising my glass. Ethan raised his, smirking. Poor kid thought he'd already won. We drank. He grabbed his gear and headed for the door. "See you after school, Dad. Hope your evaluation goes well." The emphasis on well made my skin crawl, but I smiled. "Same to you, son. Knock 'em dead." If only he knew. I arrived at school early, set up my classroom perfectly, elements arranged on the demonstration table, periodic table gleaming, everything in its place. When Superintendent Harrison walked in at 10 o'clock sharp, I was ready. My AP chemistry class sat in perfect rows, attentive, engaged. We were discussing molecular bonds when my phone buzzed. Coach Williams. "David, something's wrong with Ethan. Can you come to the gym?" I ignored it. The superintendent was taking notes. My students were answering complex questions with brilliant precision. Everything I'd worked for was clicking into place. Another buzz. "Coach Williams, it's urgent. Ethan's acting strange. The scouts are here." Strange? Yes, I imagined he was. You see, what Ethan didn't know was that I'd switched more than just glasses last night. The harmless anxiety supplement I'd given him, completely legal, sold at any health store, had one interesting side effect when combined with extreme physical activity and adrenaline. Temporary confusion, mild disorientation, nothing dangerous, nothing permanent. Just enough to humble an arrogant boy who thought destroying others was entertainment. Have you ever watched karma unfold in real time? It's both satisfying and heartbreaking when it's your own child. The evaluation continued brilliantly. I demonstrated chemical reactions that made students gasp, explained complex theories with simple metaphors. Superintendent Harrison actually smiled, twice. Meanwhile, 3 blocks away at the high school gym, my son was learning what it felt like to be publicly humiliated. Not through cruelty, but through his own choices coming home to roost. The final buzzer of my class coincided with my phone exploding with messages. Coach Williams. Ethan cost us the championship, couldn't make basic plays, scouts left at halftime. The betting pool group chat lit up too. Screenshots flooded in, kids demanding their money back, calling Ethan a fraud, a failure. The same humiliation he'd planned for me, reflected back like a mirror. I excused myself after the superintendent left, praising my teaching as exemplary and worthy of recognition. Then I drove to the gym. The gym parking lot was nearly empty. Only a few cars remained, including Ethan's Honda that I'd bought him for his 16th birthday. Better times, before Margaret's death created this canyon between us. I found him sitting alone on the bleachers, head in hands, shoulders shaking. "Rough game?" I asked, sitting beside him. His head snapped up, red eyes filled with rage. "You did this." Not a question, an accusation. "Did what?" "Don't play dumb, Dad. You switched something. You drugged me." The irony was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I let the silence stretch between us. "How does it feel?" I finally asked. "What?" "Being publicly humiliated? Having your future destroyed by someone you trust? How does it feel, Ethan?" His face went pale. The pieces clicked together in his mind like tumblers in a lock. "You knew." "About the coffee." "I'm a chemistry teacher, son. Did you really think I wouldn't notice?" More silence. The gym echoed with phantom cheers from games that would never matter as much as this moment. "It was just supposed to be a prank," he whispered. "No," my voice hardened. "A prank is putting plastic wrap on the toilet seat. You tried to give me hallucinogens before my evaluation. That's assault. That's criminal. How did you—" "Your room's not as private as you think. Neither are your messages with Marcus." Ethan's face went from pale to white. "Marcus didn't— he said it was harmless. 3 drops of what he gave you would have sent me to the hospital. Maybe worse. Did you know that? Did you care?" Tears rolled down his cheeks. Real ones this time. Not performed for cameras or followers. "I didn't think." "No, you didn't think. You haven't thought since your mother died. You've just acted, reacted, hurt others because you're hurting. Don't bring Mom into this." "Why not? She's the ghost in every room, isn't she? The empty chair, the silence where laughter used to be. The reason you hate me." "I don't hate you." "Then why try to destroy me?" The question hung between us like a test tube about to shatter. What's the chemical formula for a breaking heart? What's the molecular structure of betrayal? Ethan broke first. "Because you stopped seeing me," he sobbed. "After Mom died, you just disappeared. Even when you were there, you weren't there. You became this robot going through motions, teaching, cooking, sleeping, but never really living, never really seeing me. So you decided to hurt me? I decided to make you feel something, anything, even if it was embarrassment, even if it was anger. Because at least then you'd be human again instead of this walking chemistry textbook." The words stung because they held truth. Grief had turned me into exactly what he described. A man going through motions, present but not present, alive but not living. "The betting pool?" I asked. "I needed money. My car needs repairs. College applications cost hundreds. You haven't noticed because you haven't asked. You just assume everything's fine because dinner gets made and dishes get washed." "You could have talked to me." "Could I? When? Between your silent dinners and locked bedroom door? Between grading papers and staring at Mom's pictures? When exactly was I supposed to talk to you, Dad?" He was right. God help me, he was right. But drugging me, that was your solution. Brittany said it would be funny. Said her brother had stuff that would just make you silly for a few hours. I didn't know it was dangerous. Marcus knew. He told you 3 drops maximum. I only used 2. 2 drops of something that could have destroyed my career, my mind, my life. Like Mom's death destroyed ours, there it was. The heart of it all. The poison we'd both been drinking for 2 years. I pulled out my phone and showed him something I'd saved. A video from his TikTok account that he'd posted last year. Him and Margaret dancing in the kitchen. Her last good day before the cancer took her strength. both of them laughing, both of them alive in ways I'd forgotten how to be. "You think I don't feel?" I asked. "You think I don't die a little every day she's not here?" But I couldn't fall apart. I had to keep going. For you. I didn't ask you to be a robot for me. No, you asked me to be a target instead. We sat in silence. The gym lights hummed overhead. Somewhere outside, normal families were having normal problems. Not this, not a father and son on opposite sides of attempted destruction. "What happens now?" Ethan asked. "Are you calling the cops?" "I already did." His head whipped toward me, panic flooding his features. "But not about you," I continued. "About Marcus. He's been selling to half your school. The DEA picked him up this morning." "How did you—" "Anonymous tip, with evidence. Screenshots of him admitting to dealing, photos of his product, everything they needed." "From my phone?" "From your laptop, while you were playing your championship game. The one you sabotaged." I turned to face him fully. "Let me be very clear about something, Ethan. I gave you a mild legal supplement that causes temporary anxiety. The same feeling you wanted me to have, multiplied by 1,000. You lost that game because you couldn't handle the pressure. Just like I would have lost my job if your plan had worked. So we're even?" "No, we're not even. We're broken, both of us, and we need help." "What kind of help?" "The professional kind. Grief counseling we should have gotten 2 years ago. Family therapy to learn how to be father and son again. Individual therapy to deal with what we've become." "You'd do that? Therapy?" "I'd do anything to not lose you the way I lost her." That's when Ethan completely broke down. Not the controlled tears of a teenager protecting his image. Real, ugly, snotty sobbing that echoed through the empty gym. 2 years of bottled grief poured out onto those wooden bleachers. I pulled him close. He resisted for a moment, then collapsed against me. My son, my enemy, my mirror. "I'm sorry," he gasped between sobs. "I'm so sorry, Dad. I just wanted you back. I'm sorry, too, for disappearing, for leaving you alone with your pain." We sat there until the janitor kicked us out, 2 broken people holding each other up, or maybe holding each other together. The ride home was quiet, but different. Not the hostile silence of recent months, something softer, like the moment after a fever breaks. "My scholarship's gone, isn't it?" Ethan asked. "Probably. College? Community college for a year, then we'll see. The kids at school will destroy me. Actions have consequences. Like Marcus going to jail? Like Marcus going to jail. Like me almost losing my job. Like you losing basketball. Choices create chains, son. Chemical reactions that can't be stopped once started. Mom would be disappointed in me." "No," I said firmly. "Mom would be disappointed in both of us. But she'd also understand. She always understood." At home, I showed him something else. The evaluation forms from Superintendent Harrison. Perfect scores, recommendation for a raise, everything I'd worked for, achieved. "You could have lost this because of me," Ethan said. "You could have lost everything because of you," I corrected. "That's the thing about revenge and cruelty. They're like unstable elements. They destroy the handler as much as the target." "How do you know so much about this stuff? The psychology, I mean. Not just the chemistry." I pulled out a worn notebook from my desk. Margaret's handwriting filled the pages. "Your mom was a therapist before she got sick, remember? These are her notes about grief, about family, about what happens when people stop talking and start hurting. I've been reading them lately. Too late, but reading them. Can you imagine finding wisdom from beyond the grave, messages from someone who knew you'd need them before you knew yourself?" Ethan read a passage out loud. "Grief makes us strangers to ourselves and each other, but strangers can become family again. It just takes courage to be vulnerable instead of vengeful." "She wrote that after her diagnosis," I said, like she knew what was coming. "Did she know we'd fall apart?" "She feared it. That's why she made me promise to take care of you. You kept that promise, even when I tried to destroy you. Barely. But yes." We ordered pizza that night. First time in months we'd eaten something I hadn't cooked from Margaret's recipes. Small rebellion against grief's rituals. "So what happens Monday?" Ethan asked. "I teach. You go to school. We start therapy Tuesday." Together? Together, then separate, then together again. Whatever it takes. The kids will mock me forever. Or until the next scandal. Teenagers have short memories. Did you really give me anxiety medication? Magnesium supplement, completely harmless, but combined with your guilty conscience and adrenaline? Your mind created its own punishment. So I pranked myself? In a way. The brain's funny like that. Expects something to happen, so it makes it happen, like a placebo effect, but for karma. He actually laughed. First real laugh I'd heard in months. Mom would find that hilarious, me defeating myself. She'd find the whole thing tragic. Then she'd fix us both with therapy and too much talking about feelings. Remember when she made us do family therapy that one time? Ethan asked. When I was 12 and angry about everything? You threw a baseball through the kitchen window on purpose. I was aiming for the wall. Bad aim. Your aim was perfect in basketball. You knew exactly what you were doing. He smiled sheepishly. Mom saw right through me. Made us sit in that therapist's office for 2 hours talking about expressing anger appropriately. She was right, as always. She'd be horrified by what I did to you, what I became. She'd be horrified by both of us. Me shutting down, you acting out. We both failed her memory. Maybe that's why we needed to hit bottom. To remember what she taught us about climbing back up. Every crisis is an opportunity for growth, I quoted, page 17 of her journal. You've memorized it? Every word. It's all I have left of her wisdom. That and you. I'm sorry I almost took that away too. I miss her fixing us. Me too. We cleaned up dinner together, washed dishes side by side, no phones recording, no chemicals hidden in drinks, just father and son performing the simple ritual of ending a day. Dad? Ethan said as we finished. What would have happened if I'd succeeded? If you'd drunk the whole thing? I thought carefully before answering. Best case? I'd have been fired and humiliated. Worst case? I could have had a psychotic break, hurt myself or others, ended up hospitalized or arrested. I could have killed you. Not killed, but destroyed. There's a difference, but not much of one. How do I live with that, knowing what I almost did? The same way I live with knowing I almost lost you to your own pain. We forgive ourselves. We do better. We remember that love and hurt often wear the same face. That sounds like something Mom would say. It is. Page 43 of her notebook. We stood in the kitchen where it all started, where trust died and began its resurrection. Where a son learned that fathers have breaking points, where a father learned that grief makes monsters of us all. 3 months passed. Therapy twice a week turned to once a week. The angry silences became awkward conversations, became real talking. Ethan got a job at a local pharmacy, ironic but appropriate. He learned what medications really did to people, saw addiction's real face, met parents destroyed by their children's choices and children destroyed by their parents' abandonment. The hospital volunteer work was Dr. Coleman's idea. Our therapist said we needed to see consequences beyond ourselves. Every Saturday, we served meals in the psychiatric ward. Ethan worked with teenagers recovering from overdoses. I helped parents visiting their addicted children. One Saturday, a father recognized me from school. His daughter had been in my chemistry class 5 years ago. Straight A student. Now she was sedated, recovering from her 3rd suicide attempt after bad drugs scrambled her brain permanently. She was brilliant, he told me, tears streaming. Just like your Margaret always said, brilliant but fragile. The drugs promised to make her feel normal. Now she'll never be normal again. Ethan overheard. Later in the car, he said, "That could have been you, visiting me. Or worse. Or you visiting me in a psychiatric ward after Marcus's drugs destroyed my mind. We were both so stupid. No, we were both in so much pain we couldn't see past it. There's a difference. I could have been them," he said one evening. "The addicts, the criminals, I was heading there. But you stopped. You stopped me. We stopped each other." The house felt different now, still marked by Margaret's absence but no longer haunted by it. Her pictures stayed on the walls, but we added new ones. Ethan and me at therapy, both of us volunteering at the hospital where she'd spent her last days. Small victories over grief's paralysis. Brittany disappeared from Ethan's life when the scandal broke. Her brother Marcus got 7 years for distribution. The betting pool kids found new targets for their cruelty. The world spun on, indifferent to our private apocalypse and redemption. One evening, while cooking dinner together, Ethan asked, "Do you think Mom would forgive us?" "She'd forgive you instantly. Me, she'd make work for it." "Why?" "Because parents are supposed to protect their children even from themselves. I failed that test." "You passed it, Dad. Just not how either of us expected." We served the meal, pot roast, but with our own seasoning now. Not Margaret's recipe, but inspired by it. Like us. Not the same, but influenced by what came before. "No drinks tonight?" Ethan asked, half joking. "I'll get them." I poured 2 glasses of water. Clear, simple, nothing hidden. I set them on the table with exaggerated ceremony. "I promise," I said, "nothing but H2O." "I promise the same." We clinked glasses, drank deeply, trusted. Trust. That's what we'd lost and found again. The rarest element in the human periodic table, more precious than gold, more fragile than crystal, more powerful than any drug. The sun set through our kitchen window, painting everything golden. In that light, Ethan looked like Margaret. Same eyes, same stubborn chin, same capacity for both great love and great pain. "Dad," he said quietly, "I love you." "I love you too, son." Simple words, but after everything, they were enough. They were everything. We finished dinner talking about school, his job, my teaching, normal things, boring things, beautiful things, the chemistry of everyday life, where the most important reactions happen not in labs but in kitchens, in cars, in the spaces between words. Margaret was right, as always. Strangers can become family again. It just takes courage to choose love over vengeance, forgiveness over fury, hope over hurt. Every family has its breaking point. Ours involved betrayal, chemicals, and consequences neither of us saw coming. But here's what I learned. Sometimes things need to break before they can be rebuilt stronger. Sometimes the person trying to destroy you is actually trying to save you both. And sometimes the best chemistry lesson isn't about elements or compounds. It's about the invisible bonds that hold us together even when everything else falls apart. My name is David Mitchell. I'm a father who almost lost his son to grief and rage, a teacher who learned the most important lessons outside the classroom, a man who discovered that love isn't just patient and kind. Sometimes love is switching glasses at just the right moment and trusting that truth will find its way home. Even when home is 2 broken people learning to be whole again. Even when the lesson comes wrapped in betrayal. Even when the teacher and student are the same person, just wearing different faces. That's our story. Mine and Ethan's. Not a happy ending, but a real one. Not perfect, but profound. Not what we planned, but exactly what we needed. The chemistry of consequences, perfectly balanced at last. If you believe families should protect each other, not drug each other for TikTok views and betting money, hit that subscribe button right now. Only people who think viral fame matters more than family won't. Comment, "Trust matters," if you can't stand kids who exploit their parents' grief for social media clout, and hit the like button if you believe real love means choosing forgiveness over revenge, even when betrayal cuts deep. Because unlike Ethan's 50,000 TikTok followers who encouraged his cruelty, this community stands for protecting the people we love, not destroying them for entertainment. Share this story with someone who needs to hear that family bonds are stronger than any chemical, and that sometimes the best chemistry lesson is learning who to trust with your coffee.